Good morning, you lovely lot. Welcome to not only the final weekend show, but the final Sunday show, not just before Christmas, but of 2022. Can you believe it? The next time we are live on the next weekend is going to be in the new year, 2023. Where's the year gone? Not that I am rushing this day away, because so far, up to yesterday, we had a lovely day. Your feedback on all the things that we were showing was absolutely phenomenal. And we do say we, the royal we, so it wasn't just me. But we are going to have another incredible day today on some of the things that we are going to be showing you, which we will touch upon just in a moment. What I do want to let you know, though, right up until the 2nd of January, we've got our winter sale going on, where you can be saving up to 70% off. Head across to crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.au. You're going to find Shop the Show, and that is going to be there. So it goes into Shop the Sale. In actual fact, you're going to find everything that you want to have a peruse at. Maybe pick up some good bargains, some deals. You can see so many items, not just Christmas. There is a variety of different items. And the key thing is, you still get your Club Inspire on top of that. We've got dies, we've got creative cards, we've got stamps, we've got sentiments, we've got our plique dies. We've got so much when it comes to our winter sale. I would say the best thing to do is have a look at Shop the Sale, because that gives you everything. But if you do just want to go into individual sections, then absolutely you can do that. That is running up till the 2nd of January, as I say. However, it is also stock dependent. Once it's gone, it has completely gone. So I would certainly take advantage of your Club Inspire this weekend and pop in any little goodies and bargains that you can see across on our website. Now, as I was saying, we had a lovely day yesterday. We're going to have another lovely day as well. I'm on this side, but we have got, she's back for another day, the one, the only, Corrine's in the building.
Good morning. Isn't it fabulous? I am so excited. We're going to be looking at all things Vellum. This is your Vellum Masterclass. What can you be doing with Vellum? Now, I wanted to quickly show you, before we go into the demos, why Vellum is so important. Now, this little bit I've done is all with our Say It With Flowers. So I've put a lovely background on my card here with my Say It With Flowers. I've created an aperture, and I'm looking at that, and I can see my paper through there. I could be adding on a sentiment, which looks lovely, but I think you'll agree we kind of lose the sentiment in there. But how about putting some plain vellum on there before we put our frame on, and then we put our sentiment on? Now, doesn't that, we can still see the decorative pattern, but it's a bit more muted, and it just makes that sentiment pop. What a really good way to use vellum. Now, another thing about vellum is what you put behind it really alters it. So again, my Say It With Flowers, my matching vellum to go with my paper. But look at that, I kind of lose the vellum. I'm not getting the most of my vellum behind there. How about we layer it on to white card? Now look at that, that made that pop. But I want to show you something that I love doing with vellum. How about putting gold mirror behind your vellum? Now, to me, it looks like somebody's just turned the lights on. It looks like you put lights behind there. But again, if you want it really muted, you can go with your black. Now, that was the same vellum. I'm just going to go in like that to show you how different the same vellum, look at that, depending on what you put behind it. Really clever, a really, really useful addition to your crafty stashes vellum.
It really is, and that's such a great way to kick off the show, Corrine, by showing just those few different ways. Even though it is the weekend shows, you can absolutely head across to our website and have a look at Shop the Day. You will find many of the items that Corrine is using available on the website, so just check them ones out, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.au. If there is anything that takes your fancy but it's out of stock, you can add your email address and you will be notified when it comes in stock. Now, we do have Rachel is on the comments for this first show of the day. We are then going to be joined by Susie later on. We've got Sarah Brown is saying, hello, my crafty friends, sending hugs from Melbourne, Australia. Hope you are well. I'm well. Corrine, are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed.
Tracy, are you well?
Yes, thank you.
Good, good, good. Jamie and George, you both well? Perfect. We have also got Pamela Dashwood saying good morning, everyone. Betty is saying hello from Idaho. We've got Carol Byrne is good morning from a very cold and wet, windy Dublin. Kind of the same here. So, Coffee sitting by the fire, watching you both. Oh, what a lovely thought. Marcia is saying good morning, everyone. Lillian is saying good morning, Corrine and Rachel and Craig. Silva is saying good morning. And Jill is saying hi, Craig, Corrine, Rachel, and all at the CTV crew. Vellums. We have got our 8x8 vellums. This is from Wisteria. You are going to get 8 designs. You're going to get 3 sheets of each, and that is going to give you 24 sheets in total, 8x8 in size, absolutely perfect. Corrine, what can we do with these?
Right, now, I wanted to use this segment to show you a couple of ways, there are a lot more ways, but a couple of ways on how to adhere your vellum to your projects, because that's probably what we get asked the most. Now, one of the things about Crafter's Companion Vellum is it's really thick. It's usually about 150 GSM, so it's a nice heavy weight vellum, so you can hide a lot of your adhesives behind. But the key thing is to hide your adhesive. So I've taken a really simple card base. I'm going to pop this on. Now I'm going to build up on my card with some bits and pieces. So as soon as I think about like that gives me all this space to add my adhesive behind there that I know it's not going to show. So I can come around here, I can turn it over, and I'm just going to come in with my tape pen just behind here. And I can go quite heavy, knowing it's not going to be seen. But look at that. You can't really see it. Now, the other thing I can do is I can come in with my tacky glue, really light tacky glue, and pop that on there, and then I would just spread it around so that when I stick it down, my glue, there we go, look at that, totally gone. And any little bits behind here are going to be hidden with my sentiment. But also, the best way to do it is to hide it completely. Now, I want to put foam pads on my vellum. Really does look unsightly, doesn't it? So all I need to do, take these off, and these are going to be perfect to lift my vellum, to give it another dimension, pop it onto my card base, pop that on there, and then when I add my frame over the top, it's all hidden. So think about what you're doing and just, you know, think about where you can hide it. Now, brads are a brilliant way to be doing it, but sometimes they don't work. So sometimes we can't hide. So, you know, the last two, I showed you how to hide it. Just think about keeping the glue or the adhesive really light. Now, that's just tacky glue on the back of there, hidden, and you just can't see it at all. So I just thin it out so you can't see it. I'm going quite quick, so I'm not necessarily going all over on here, but you'd go a little bit further and just add in all of your adhesive. To make sure I've got that the right way around. There we go. So we can just add on like that, and you can see, there we go, thin it out, really thin it out, and then the glue is hidden.
Absolutely fab ways to see how it's hidden. You can do things such as these, where it's hidden right in the background. This is how the pack will come with your 24 sheets, 150 GSM, and you do have your 8 designs, and you've got 3 of each in these most gorgeous pattern design from Wisteria Vellum packs that are 8x8. That is one of the main things I always get asked, Corrine,
it really is,
how do you hide them?
How do you hide your vellum?
Hide?
Yeah, that's what we get asked all the time, is how to hide the adhesive. Well, try and find something like an embellishment, you know, even a butterfly, a dragonfly, whatever you want to do, flowers, you know, those are the best ways to hide it. But if you can't, just get your glue and keep it nice and thin. You can get vellum glue, parchment glue, but I mean, I find our tacky glue is one of the best ways to do it.
Absolutely. Really, really is. As I pointed out beforehand as well, so any of these vellums you will also find across on the website as well. So you're going to be knowing in and you're going to be comfortable and you're going to have lots of ideas by the end of this show as to how you're going to be using the vellums, where you're going to be using the vellums. As I said there a moment ago to Corrine, that is one of the most questions that I get asked when it comes to the vellum is about hiding. Do you think there's specific glues in that? I will always use our tacky glue as well. It's a wonderful glue for you to use. You're not going to see where it is being positioned, or you're just going to hide the glue like you're going to do with what Corrine just showed you there and the foam pads. They're going to work really, really well when it comes to your pattern papers as well, or if you just want to use them a little bit more. So let's have a little look, see what everyone is saying. Our Rachel is saying, I'm definitely taking notes on this show. Vellum is one of the things that still confuses me a little. There we go. Well, I can tell you, Rachel, you will have lots of ideas by the end of this show. Cara is saying, hi all, got lots of vellum, just need ideas. You're going to be covered by the end of this show. And Jenny Briggs on Facebook is saying, good morning, busy wrapping presents. Oh, done that the other day, got fed up by the end. Vellums, once again, this is from our dancing dragonflies. 150 GSM, you have got these in 8x8. You've got a variety of designs here. You're also getting 8 different designs. You're getting 3 of each, which gives you the 24 designs. Plain colour, beautiful. Corrine, what can we do?
Right, well, I thought I would show you what we could be doing with some of the plainer colours. So, you know, vellum doesn't always have to be about the pattern, because when you take a plainer vellum, as we've got there, you can see how we can do lots of things with it. So I've got one of my embossing folders. I have got my lovely lace, and it's a 3D embossing folder. Now, sometimes if you were just to put vellum through on its own, it can crack. So what I tend to do is I'm going to pop just a piece of regular copier paper behind there, and I'm just going to layer that so it's just adding a little bit of support. I can then put this through my die cutting machine, 3D embossing folder, so it's just the 3 plate combination. Just because I'm using vellum, it doesn't change, and I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine. So whatever die cutting machine you've got, this will work. So just treat it like regular paper, but just add an extra shim in. So when I look now, double bonus, I've now got a lovely embossed piece of card, but I'm going to pop that to one side. But look at this. I'm actually going to bring this in so you can see, but look at that. Look at how beautifully that is done. Now, you could use that as parchment, you know, white work. You could use that on your project. So I'll show you how you could just add that into your project straight away. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful with a sentiment? And then I use a little piece of my leftover vellum just to cut out a dragonfly, because I think that in its own right looks gorgeous. But another thing you can do is you can colour your vellum. Now look at that. Look at the colours behind there. I just used my pencils. I've just brought in my, let me get them right, I've got my colour blend pencils there, and I've just picked up a couple. And all I'm going to do is, I've got my blending solution, which I can't, there it is, I've got that here, and I've got my little stubby pencil paper stump here. So all I would be doing is taking this, and then on the reverse, it's always on the reverse, I would just be colouring. And once I colour like that, I then just get a little bit of my blending solution on my pencil stub, and I just blend it out. Just blend it. Look at that. You can see. You can go in with a little bit more and just colour that in. All your different colours, we can just, I can come in with my purple, just do here, just like that. And then again, blend that out until you've got the full effect like that, which you can then put onto your card. So the choice is yours. It's entirely up to you.
So going from that, or using them to decorate your little boxes if you want to. Of course, you could still emboss them. This is how they come within the package with the 24 sheets, but then this is how these are going to look. You've got your different designs and your colours. You've got your 8x8 in size, 24 sheets. You've got 3 designs and 8 of each. I always forget, Corrine, about how you can colour onto the vellums as well.
It just gives it a completely different look, doesn't it?
It does.
I just love how you can do that and, you know, create something, you know, totally unique. But again, on white, it looks like you've just spent hours and hours doing your parchment craft, doesn't it?
It really does.
You know, I think to me, it's a win-win, is embossing in vellum.
Definitely, really is. You know, and you might have different embossing folders from us at Crafters Companion. You might have other brands as well. Start to mix and match them. See what Corrine's been doing, and then you can then follow suit. You might not have the same embossing folder, but use a embossing folder. You're going to get that different look as well. It's just about playing as well. I know some of you say that that vellum medium, sometimes it's a little bit complicated for you. You don't quite know how to use it, where to use it, how to attach it, what you can use to colour onto. Well, then the point of these shows as well, and certainly this masterclass this morning, is then you're going to get lots of ideas. And Corrine's going straight in and showing you the ideas head on, and then that's when you can then come along and then you can use the ideas whichever way you want when it comes to, of course, the vellums, not just ours, but any. It's really handy to use them, and a nice way to use them up. But while you are across on our website, potentially having a look at Shop the Day and many of the things Corrine is using, don't forget, and let me tell you, you won't be able to forget because there's a great big banner on the website that says Winter Sale, up to 70% off. So you can go into Shop the Sale. That's going to take you through everything that we've still got in stock. Some items already, although it's running up till the 2nd of January, numbers are a bit like that. Once it's gone, it has gone. So take advantage of them now. And then you might find that throughout the next week or so, you might drop back and have a look. But of course, if you look now, your early bird catches the worm. As I say, it's up to 70% off, but you will still always get your Club Inspire on top of that. It's not one of those things that says excludes Club Inspire. You will still get your Club Inspire on top of that 70% discount, or up to 70%. So it's one thing to just take in mind. crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu. That's where you need to go.
I just saw the rosette die on there when we were scrolling just a minute
Did you
ago,
know?
and from the garden party, and I might be using that within the next 10 minutes. So I think, you know, when you said while stocks last, when you see what we can do with vellum and that rosette die, I think that one might be gone.
I'm going to say, if not by the end of today, by tomorrow, that will be off the website.
I think it probably will. I think once you see how you can use it with vellum, I think it'll be gone.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. If you do have any questions, just like yesterday, send them through to Rachel, and just before the end of the show, we'll go through them all. Send them through to Rachel. You can see all the social details along the bottom there, whether it's Facebook or, of course, on our YouTube. Christine read out... No, I never read out Christine. Christine is saying, I love that. That was going with the embossed detail that you just showed there. Lillian on Facebook saying, I like the colouring on vellum. That's new to me. There you go. Something new that you've learnt from Masterclass this morning. We've got Jill saying, and me, I don't use much vellum. I need this. Well, there you go. Great show. And then Amelia is saying, wow, thank you for all the wonderful techniques. You've inspired me throughout the show. And Christine Mahoney, got your questions, so like I say, we'll answer these just towards the end of the show, so keep the comments coming in. Sunflower vellum. This is beautiful. 8x8 in size, and you have got full on sunflower loveliness. Edge to edge, you can see. You do get multiple sheets of each design. This is against white to see how you can use them, but Corrine's a way to show us how else we can use them.
I am. I'm going to start again. One of the questions we get asked is, how can I stamp on vellum? Now, the short answer is, with all of the inks that we do here at Crafters TV, the only one that you can really use, or the only type of inks, is your pigment inks, and then you can heat set them with your embossing powder. Any other inks, such as your water reactive, your alcohol proof, your waterproof, they'll not dry on your vellum, so they will continue to smudge. So the best way to stamp, if you want to stamp a sentiment or stamp an image onto vellum, is to use a pigment ink and then combine it with some embossing powder. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I've cut a strip out of one of those pads from the sunflower, and you can see I've managed to get a bit, so I've got a nice bit without too much pattern in the middle. And then I'm going to use my stamps from my sunflower collection, just in love with the sunshine, and I'm going to fit it on here. Now, one of the things I found whilst prepping this is that it mutes your inks down. So I'm going in with Bordeaux, which is quite a strong colour, but I found that if I went with a pale colour, it just didn't pop. It just didn't pop. So I'm going in with my Bordeaux. Now, as I said, it's a pigment ink, so it stays wet for a nice long time, and we can pop that down there. I'm doing it on my stamping platform so that if I need to go, oh no, look at that. Perfect, you can see that on there. So I'm going to act fairly quickly. I know we've got time, everything, but I never spend too long. We can then sprinkle over our powder, go with our embossing powder, just your regular clear embossing powder. And then, again, it always looks muted. Now, the one tip I can give you about heat embossing onto vellum is make sure your heat gun is hot. So I've got my heat gun and I've got it switched on, and I'm not pointing it at my vellum until my heat gun is hot. Because if you put it too soon, what you'll find is your heat gun will crinkle up your vellum. It'll do more harm than good. So just testing it on my mat. This is as hot as I've got time for now. So all I'm going to go is cross there, and you can see it's starting to tame that quite quickly. There we go. Watch this. Can you just see that's just changing? So I'm going to go as quickly as I can. I don't want to linger, and I don't want to, overheat. It doesn't do your embossing powder any good to overheat, but look at that. Look at how that just pops on there. I love that. Lovely, clear sentiment. So once you've done that, all you would then do is bring in your card base and pop that on, and how perfect is that? And that's now permanently fixed.
Going on from heat embossing onto your vellum, using it as a backdrop for maybe your Create a Card dies that you can see. This is how it's going to come with the 24 sheets in the packaging. But when it comes to this, you have got 6 designs in this one, and you've got 4 of each, which is giving you your 24 sheets, 8x8 vellum, 150 GSM, and the sunflower collection. Corrine, we were actually talking about this yesterday, and that was a really good tip to me as well. Heat embossing onto vellum. Never thought about the factor, it's really beneficial to make sure your heat tool is as hot as it possibly can before you go onto vellum.
Really get it warmed up. And please don't put your hand under your heat gun. I always say, make sure you test it on your glass mat or somewhere like that. But, as long as you've got your heat gun nice and warm, so that almost as soon as the heat makes contact with that embossing powder, it turns it quickly. And then you're not going to do any damage at all to your vellum. Otherwise, you could crinkle it up, and it'll buckle.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to. But the only way from our inks that you can stamp onto vellum is to heat emboss. But you get fantastic results if you do.
You do. And I have other branded inks where you could go onto vellum. I will still always heat emboss onto vellum, and I'll obviously do it with our ink pad. I love the look, I love the design, I love that raised area as well that you get when it comes to the heat embossing, and I think it just complements. Doesn't matter what collection the vellum's from, what colour it is, what design it is, that heat embossing, whether it's a sentiment or an actual image, or maybe it's just a separate element that you've done heat embossing on, it works really, really well when it comes to the vellums. You'll have seen Corrine just use an embossing powder. I know it was a question we got asked a couple of times yesterday. Do we have any of our own across on our website? We don't have our own embossing powders, but you will find a big selection of Creative Expressions embossing powders across on our website. So just go across there. You can type it into the search bar, or you can just go into each company's individual shop brand drop down. So just have a look into the shop brands and then into Creative Expressions, and you'll find a lot of items there that you will still also get your Club Inspire on top of as well. which is a win-win. Have a look at that up to 70% sale as well while you're across there, taking advantage of the winter time, giving yourself a little treat. Maybe it is for you, or maybe you are going to then be having a look about birthdays or celebrations coming up in the new year that you could just pop these little gifts to the side for a crafter. They're not going to know that you've saved up to 70% off. Here in the UK, stateside, and again for you guys, Central Europe as well. So everyone is a win-win. We've got Marlene is saying, I have a CC embossing folder with the poinsettia on it. I embossed it onto vellum, turned the vellum over, and I used my ball tools and ran it over the back side of the poinsettia. They turned white and raised up. That's a good idea.
Perfect, absolutely. Always flip to the back. So when I was colouring, we flipped it over. And I use the coloured pencils, but there's no reason why you can't use your alcohol pens as well. They work really well. Your tri-blends, any of those, your classiques, will look lovely on there. But yeah, it's entirely up to you which ones you want to use.
Perfect. Lily, we've got your question, so we'll fire that across to Corrine just shortly. We've got Jill on Facebook saying, so that's how to avoid crinkling. Thank you, Corrine. Yep, see, I learnt that myself yesterday. And Aileen on YouTube is saying, I'm learning a lot, have vellum, and don't know how to use it.
Yep. Well, I'm going to show you something else now.
Oh, exciting. Rightio. Say it with flowers, vellum. 8 by 8. Now, when it comes to our Say It With Flowers 8 by 8, you're getting 24 sheets, also 150 GSM. You're also getting 6 designs within this one here, and you're getting 4 of each. So we've seen many ways in how it can be used, but Corrine, how can we use the Say It With Flowers? Okay.
This is the one I gave a little hint for. This is your beautiful rosette from the garden party. And I'm going to make this out of vellum because the effect is beautiful. So I've got the die. Now, just for speed, I've already cut the little circles out of the red card. But what I'm going to do now is cut the vellum. Now, it says to make the rosette, you need 4. So what I've got is I've literally taken an 8 by 8 sheet and cut it into 2-inch strips. And I've actually just stapled it together at the top. Just means that they don't move apart. I can put my die across there. So I'm going to be cutting through 2 layers of vellum at once, which just makes it much quicker, but you'll get a better result, I think, because of using the 2 layers at once. And then we can run that through our die cutting machine. Now, if you do it like that, you won't get any... Oh, look at that. You hear that lovely crack? Don't worry about that. That's just as it should be. That's the vellum cutting through. Now, let me lift this one up and show you. Look at this. Absolutely perfect. So what it's done is it has, can you see, it's hard to show you, but it's done all the scoring at the same time. So if I just literally concertina backwards and forwards, it's done all of my score lines that I need. Now, what I've done here is I'm concertinaing this one so that I've got the back view first. And what I'll do with the second one is I'll concertina it the opposite way, and it will make sense when I show you, but that's just going to get you the best result when you finish. So I've just finished those ones like that, and then, as we said, I want this one to concertina the other way. So I'm doing it with, can you see the difference? With the bright side out. And again, even though this was my second layer in the die, it's still got all of those score lines. If you really struggle with the score lines, you can always go over it with your scoreboard, but the whole point of that die is it just does it all for you. So I'm just literally going backwards and forwards. I just give it a little bit of a squeeze, and then I can see that score line come into vision. So I don't need to worry about that. That one's there, and that one. And then once I've got 2, I'm just going to use my tacky glue and I'm going to pop them together. So what I'm going to do is I want the bright side to be outside, and because I've done them opposites, I've now got a way to put them together. So I've still got bright sides out. Little bit of tacky glue, you really don't need much. Pop those together, and then once they're in, I'm just going to make sure it lines up, and then I'm going to squeeze it together. And that tacky glue will grab really quick. So I've got one here. Let's put it the bright side up, and I've got another one just there. So I'm going to do exactly the same. Let's make sure I've got these the same way. Let's have a look. No, that wants to go that way, and then yes, that's it. It's fitted. Yep, that's the right way. So I've still got my bright side showing. Knew it would work. And then that one's going to go onto there. Just give it a little bit of a squeeze. And then oops, did I miss that? I squeezed it onto itself there. Where did the glue go? There it is. I'm a little bit too light on the glue. There we go, that's going to go in there and squeeze that. So you can do that, and well, just squeeze that, and I'm going to extend this one. And what I can then do, there's that glue. There we go, put that one on and squeeze that. Now, ideally, would just give it a few minutes to hold, but then what I can do is, best glue ever for doing this is hot glue. Really is the best glue. Let me just check this is nice and warmed up. So we can just, yes, that's coming out lovely. So all I'm going to do here is take this and open it out like that. Can you see straight away the rosette? So it was like that, and we want it like there. So all I'm going to do is pop that onto here and then turn it round. Oh, oops, I'll do it this way round. What we'll do, we'll put a big, nice, big blob of glue on there. We'll get our rosette. This will be the easiest way to show you with the TV, with the cameras. Turn that like that, and then just drop it over the centre, just there. Now, make sure it's all nicely fanned out and I've not got any extra bits. There you go, I don't want any bits that are a little bit less. So hopefully that hot glue will grab. There we go, you can see. So all I'm going to do then, put some more hot glue down the centre, get this other one of these and pop that over the top and just hold that, just making sure it's evenly spaced. That's nice and warm. That's why it was catching. There we go. We can just move that one back a little bit. There we go. Over the centre. And then we've got a rosette. Now, I just want to show you, if we bring in a card, a really simple card, just like that. I'm going to use this one that's nice and dry and put a rosette on there. How beautiful does that look? Really clean and simple, but look at this. It's so robust, but it's a beautiful way to shape your vellum.
Now, go so dimensional in that incredible way Corr's just showed you there. You can even use it as backdrops around frames and shakers. This is how the Say It With Flowers comes. Your 24 sheets, 150 GSM, and you do have your 6 designs, and you've got 4 of each all the way down. Gorgeous, bright, beautiful colours that you can see all the way through there. I love the rosette effect. Yeah. I even love it even more when it comes to the vellum.
Oh, it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Doesn't it?
But that's not the only way you can shape your vellum. So I'm just going to show you, just with exactly the same vellum, we showed you yesterday how to shape flowers. Now look at that. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful?
Oh,
if you want to see how to shape the vellum, just look back at our flower making masterclass. But they're a completely different look. All we've done is taken our vellum, turned it over, shaped it with our ball tool, and then glued it together. So whichever effect you like, do you like the flowers or do you like the rosettes? It's entirely up to you. Completely different looks, but just different ways of using the exact same vellum, but different ways to shape it. Yeah,
it really is. And you know what's great as well is you'll find with the weekend shows, although in each show we tend to focus on something specific, you'll see how they can then transition together. So you'll have taken what you've learnt from Corrine yesterday in the flower forming and the flower creating, whether it's your cards or your foam or your felt, etc., etc. Now you can bring that in to the Vellum masterclass. You might want to bring in some of the inks into it as well, so you'll be able to bring in, mix and match. Maybe you're going to then make something like Corrine's just done there, where you're going to want to put a box in it. So then you could go back to the previous weekend where we've done different shows, where we've done the scoreboard with myself and Debbie Fisher, and then start to bring them all together. Whether you're seeing things live in front of your eyes, whether it's been past shows or upcoming shows, you're always going to find them across on our YouTube channel. Just go across across to YouTube and type in Crafters TV, and every single show that we have done, from master classes, you know, and then craft-alongs and anything that you need additional help with, it is all going to be found there. You can even just go and search the title of the collection or the product, or you can then even just go in and create your own playlists of certain items. So always remember that across on our YouTube. We've got, Christine was saying, this is actually referring to a question that she said, so I'll read it out. Christine's original question was, do you have to be careful on the pressure when putting vellum through the Gemini so nothing cracks? And then she's come back, so with the extra piece of paper, it won't crack. Got it. Sorry, I came in mid-demonstration and just looked back at the demo.
Absolutely fine. So what I tend to do with the embossing folder, put through an extra shim. And again, maybe if I, like when I just die cut that rosette, I put 2 layers through. I just find it's better. If you're not, you can always just put a copy of paper in as an extra shim. It just softens it a little bit. It just takes off some of the pressure.
It really, really does. I'll read this question out just now, Cassandra, because what I would say is always afterwards go back as well and see what Corrine done a moment ago with heat embossing sentiment. But Sandra's put, what ink pad should be used to put a sentiment on a vellum insert?
A pigment ink pad, always a pigment ink pad, and then heat emboss it to set it. Don't just do a normal, from our Crafters Companion range, as Craig said earlier, there might be other ink pads out there by other companies that will go onto your vellum, but from our range, it's always one of the pigments. So it could be your Midas, your opaque pigment, your shimmer ink pads, all of the ones that you can heat emboss. Pop them on, stamp it on, put some clear embossing powder over like I just did, and then heat set it. But remember, get your heat gun nice and hot beforehand, and then just a nice gentle waft over the top will set it.
Perfect, thank you for that one. Jill is saying, loved that demonstration too. Thank you, Corrine. We've got Silva saying, you could cut the folds into a curved V on the rosette to make it look like a flower.
You could, yes. Oh, yes, that'd be nice, yes.
Really, really nice. This is the thing, you're going to take ideas from you, Corrine, and then you're going to then put your own spin on them if you want. And then Kirsty D on YouTube is saying, I never thought of using vellums to make a rosette. I'm going to have to try that now. I like making rosettes and putting a safety pin on the back to make a badge. How great will that look with vellum?
It really does, and it's, I can't get over to explain to you how solid it is. This, I was showing Tracy earlier, and she said this is brilliant because she has them in our library, looking after them, and she said paper ones get damaged so easily, but this is just so robust. And to think it's actually a lighter GSM than a lot of the cardstock, but it's just the properties of vellum means that, you know, it's not going to damage. I can drop it in, it's not damaging, it's not denting, it's holding really well. Use your hot glue in the centre to get that really tight hold. Definitely. But you can't see where my joins are. No. I've just used just tacky glue, and you cannot see at all where I've joined it, and there's 4 pieces on there. So it's a really good way to make your beautiful rosettes. It really, really is. Couldn't agree more. We'll still have time. If you do have any additional questions, send them through to Rachel, and then we'll read them out before the end of the show. Vintage butterflies. This one here is our vellums once again. Also 8x8 in size. You have got 150 GSM. You've got 24 sheets. You've got 6 designs, and then you have also got 4 of each. Variety of tones and designs. We use them on white to show them off. Corrine, what can we do with these ones? Right, what I wanted to show you is how you can really use vellum to sort of diffuse a light source. So vellum is brilliant at making a light source really gentle. So I've just got some craft lights here, and looking at these, and they are absolutely lovely. But if I was to put them behind a panel, let me just pop them behind there, you get quite a harsh light. So, you know, it looks nice, but it's quite a strong light. Now, if I wanted it much more gentle, I would use my vellum to mute it. So all I've done, now, if you are a collector of our craft boxes, this is the panels craft box. It's craft box 45, and you get these two beautiful panels. So they cut in or they cut out. And all I've done is I've taken 2 pieces of black card, and they are 7 1/4 inches by 7 3/4. I've scored it 1/2 inch, and then I've got my panels here, so they are 3 1/2 inches, yep, each one. And then I've cut the panel in twice. Now you get 2 different panels, but I thought I'd use the same one twice, and I've repeated that on here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these together. So I'll do the vellum first. So this is great because we're going to pop our vellum behind here, but we don't have to worry about what glue we use, because it's going to be on the inside of our box. So it's giving us total free rein on our adhesive, because it's going to be totally hidden. So I've just used red liner tape, and can you see it does show? Just really burnish that down, and you can just see the lines. It shows, but I'm not worried about that at all, because we can hide that because it's on the inside of the box. So don't get hung up too much about your vellum adhesives. Just, it's all, as we were saying earlier, it's all about hiding the glue, and you know, what better way to hide it than inside a box. So I can now pop these together to make this box. So we can pop this one on here. You can see I've left quite a big gap at the bottom and at the top, but that's not a problem. Fold that over, and we can pop that one onto here. There we go. There we go. So you can see we've now got a lovely vellum panel on 2 opposite sides. So all I've done is I've created a lid. Let's turn this over. And this is what I love about our vellums, is most of our vellums come in our collections. So this one is from our vintage butterflies. So we have got our vintage butterflies paper pad. So you can, you know, mix and match them and coordinate them and get the best results. So all I've done is just treated it like a regular box, and we've popped that one onto there. Now, I've been careful. That one is my lid, because I put the print going that way round, and this one, therefore, must be my base, because I've put the pattern going the opposite way. So if you look, then hopefully it will, yes, it is. Look at the writing, it's that way round. It's lovely when it works. We can pop that one in there. Now this goes either way, so what we can then do is pop that into there. Oh, just caught it on the corner. Oh, that's not stuck down. There we go. There we are. Pop that in there. There we go. Fits really snugly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to then, oh, just turn the one off instead of turning the other one on. Pop that one through there. And can you see? We can see the lights. And then I can put my other lid on, and look at that. Look at how that going that way, you can see it better. How that diffuses the light. That could be battery-operated tea light. Please don't put a real candle in. But just by putting the vellum in there, and that will really, really soften those lights.
Absolutely phenomenal. So following on from there, you maybe want to do your pullbacks when it comes to your cards. This is how the pack would come with all of the vellums. But as it is, we've got 24 sheets, 150 GSM. This is where you are getting your 6 designs, and then you're going to be getting 4 of each. And this is all from the vintage butterflies. Shut up, Corrine, that was awesome.
It's good, isn't it? I like that. It's really pretty. I mean, I've done that. That could be a Christmas decoration. Were you waiting to say that?
Waiting.
Were you trying not
I've been
to
waiting for that. I've been champing at the bit.
We've done some interesting things,
We
haven't
have.
we? We have.
Yeah.
We've done it to mute your lights.
Yeah.
We've shaped it. What else have we done? We have done stamping onto our vellum. You know, it's so versatile, isn't it? Oh, what else have we done? I'm just finding them all down from under here. We have done embossing onto your vellum, so you can see, look at this. Oh, that's the back instead of the front. I mean, how beautiful is this? I'll have to put all of these together properly and then put them up on social media so that you can see them. But aren't these good, you know, colouring onto your vellum, but just finding different ways to attach your vellum to your projects. You can understand why people perhaps step back from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they might be a little bit concerned. It's something that you initially have to think about, but once you've got over that, I don't know, fear or, you know, concern, then it's really easy to use and it's so versatile.
It really, really is. And, you know, going on that point there, you know, me waiting to say that, just in case you wonder at the weekends, because we go and we dive straight in to show you all the different ways, what we tend to do, what I do is I'll go silent, because there's nothing worse than Corrine trying to explain what she's doing. You guys at home wanting to know what Corrine's doing, and there's me jumping in. So I'll tend to go silent so that we can all get the best of Corrine's knowledge, and then I'll come into the end afterwards. But yeah, that was the whole lot. But then that one right at the very end there, really, really showcasing. And once again, this then transitions from last week's starter skills that I'd done with the scoreboard. You can then, of course, use what you learned from the scoreboard, start to make that tunnel box Corrine's just done, use your inner dies to create it, and then put in your tiny little battery operated lights with the Vellum in the back. So you're all going to tie them all together. So what I would then certainly highly recommend is, if you've seen anything there that Corrine's like, a lot of what Corrine's been using is in stock. There's a few of the items, such as like the little lights, you will have to source them elsewhere. But other than that, a lot of the items, the adhesives, the vellums, you know, cardstocks, you're going to find across on the website. So just go across onto the website. You're still going to find Shop the Day when it comes to the weekend shows. So you can see just a moment ago, that was your masterclass. So you can either shop the show, or I would always recommend Shop the Day, because you're going to see everything from that said day. But you will, of course, see the 70%, up to 70% winter sale. Click on that, then you're going to see a few different options, 6 in fact. You are going to go in with your Shop the Sale. That's then going to give you everything that's in that 70% sale. The other sections are just individual, just your dies, just your stamps, just your etc, etceteras. But everything is in Shop That Sale. So you've got your creator cards, you've got your embellishments, you've got your sentiment dies, you've got sentiment stamps, you've got borders, you've got frame stamps, you've got a wide variety of embossing folders, including 3D embossing folders. Are you able to pause there, George? So if you look right in the middle on the left-hand side, that is the rosette that Corrine used earlier on. So where you see that Celebrate, to the left of that, that is the rosette. £2.44.
£2.44. Okay. That's the time to run for that, isn't it?
It really, really is.
We've just lost all the audience. All the audience have just gone onto the website now to buy that.
So there you go. But then you've still got your soft crafts covered as well. You've still got Sarah's signature. You've got Nature Garden. So it does last up until the 2nd of January, which, funny enough, is going to be myself and Corrine that's going to kickstart the new year on Crafters TV. We are also going to be both ending the year on Crafters TV together, aren't we, on Friday? So that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, it does end 2nd of January, however, it is also stocks last. And I can tell you right now, that rosette is not going to last 24 hours after seeing that. Again, there is just a couple of questions, but what we'll do is we'll throw back to you, Corrine, if you want to show a few things.
I'm just going to show a couple of things, just carry on from what we were showing earlier. So I've just sort of taken the, look at that. This is the one where I coloured in the background of the emboss. Now, it might not look uber pretty when you look at the back, but as soon as you turn it round and it, you know, you get that muted effect, it looks gorgeous. Now, all I would say is, when you're thinking about where to glue, then the good place to do is to go behind where you've sort of done your colouring, because that's going to hide a lot of your glue. But don't worry, I'm not going to glue in the centre, and then all I'm going to do is just to sort of thin out that glue really well and make sure I've got my card base the right way up and pop that on. But it really doesn't show, so even with all that embossing. But then you can glue on to your vellum as well. Vellum will take it. Now it's a little bit more porous, not as porous, so it just, you know, might take a bit longer. But again, with my tacky glue, I can just go over there, and this will then adhere to my vellum. So we've talked about a lot of, you know, about how you can stick your vellum down.
Yeah.
But people might also worry about what they can use to stick onto their vellum.
That's
so
true.
This is just. Might just need a little bit more glue on there. But then again, look at this. I love this. I cut the dragonfly out of regular purple card and then cut it out of the vellum and stuck the two together so that you get a lovely muted effect on there. And then that will just stick on to there. It will stick. Just press it down because your vellum doesn't absorb. You've just got to wait for, there you go, straight away I can feel my tacky glue. Oop, I caught that, has stuck there. So it's just about you sort of giving it a bit longer to hold. But just finally, the last one I wanted to show you was I took this one from the Wisteria. A gorgeous, absolutely, such a simple card. Lots of white. We were talking about not being frightened of your white yesterday, weren't we? And I'm just going to pop down my panel down the centre. So we can just pop that just down the centre there. And again, think about, there we go, it's not quite straight. There you go, think about how you're going to do it. So you can put it onto the white, onto the green, and it's going to look quite muted. Or if you really want it to pop,
difference.
Pop it onto your white, and then all of those come to life. And again, I'm not doing anything more than my tacky glue, just down there like that, and I'll stick that on. But Craig, has anybody else asked any more questions?
Yeah, we've got a few actually.
Okay, let's have a go with those before the show finishes.
Perfect. Well, if you don't mind, if I answered this one,
yeah,
about
please,
the foil
go for it.
press.
Go,
Wanda is saying, good morning CCTV team. Quick question, can you foil press, can you use the foil press to heat foil onto vellum? Now, what I would say, I'm not 100% sure exactly what you were meaning. If you're meaning, can you foil onto your vellum using the foil press? Yeah, absolutely. Of course you can. You'll have had the little book with it, so you can absolutely foil onto vellum, no problem whatsoever with all your different foils. If that wasn't what you were meaning, what I would say overall, please don't use your foil press for anything other than foiling. Okay, please don't use it for your flower forming foam. Leanne's talked yet, I've talked over, you know, why it's not beneficial to do that. Don't use it for any other kind of crafting need or any need other than foiling onto said medium. That's what it's for. But yeah, you can absolutely.
Using some of the things that we've talked about, you need to make sure your foil press is a really good heat so that you're not keeping your vellum in there overly long.
Yeah, with our foil press, because it actually bleeps to let us know when it's at that maximum temperature. So yeah, but you'd be good to go. What I would say, and absolutely on your point, Corrine, if you've done something and then you go and do something, you go to do more foiling, make sure that it's back. Don't go straight on. Make sure that it's bleeped to let you know that it's at that absolute temperature. Because follow on from what Corrine was explaining about the heat gun, that will be exactly the same with the foil press. So yes, it'll be the same with all your mediums, but anything specifically, it'll be your vellum. Make sure that your foil press is ready to go on that maximum heat level that you've got. But yeah, you can foil onto plain vellums or pattern vellum. It doesn't matter. You can absolutely do that. Corrine, Christine Mahoney is saying, what pencils did you use on the back of the vellum, and what was the name of the liquid? I need to try that.
Right, I used our colour blend pencils. So I've got everything down here and I've got to find out, there we go. So the medium that I used was the Spectrum Noir pencil blending solution, which has been, I mean, I've come in later today, so I picked this up, but I'm assuming that this was designed exactly for these pencils. Yep. So basically what it does is it smooths out. So you use like a pencil stub, paper stub, so it's just like a little roll of, these are, if you look for paper stubs, we sell them sometimes, but not always in stock. So this is just compacted paper. Pop that in, and it just rubs against the colour pencil, and it just blends it out, and you get a lovely, there's some that you can see. I was doing myself a colour swatch, so if you just took my pencil stub, then I've just wet it, you can see it's different, and then, I mean, this was done, gosh, days ago. There we go, look at that. And that just blends it out.
It does, doesn't it?
So you can blend your colours together using that.
Yeah,
but that's
you
just a
could.
pencil stub and the Spectrum Noir. Let me just put the lid on because that would be just the sort of thing I'd do. The Spectrum Noir pencil blending solution. Have a look on the website.
Absolutely, have a look. As I said as well, if there is anything that you takes your fancy but it is out of stock, you can be notified when it is back in stock. Great colour selection as well there on your little swatch.
It's lovely,
there.
isn't it?
Love that.
If I colour something at home, that was the colouring for here. And I've got 24 pencils in here, and I want to be able to pick it back up. I always do that.
Go with that.
You have to excuse my scruffy writing, but yes.
No, hey, that's an extra tip that we never thought that we were going to get, that's for sure. Now, the final last question, Corrine, is Aileen is saying, Corrine, can you make a single box with a vellum top?
Yeah, I could take, that wouldn't be a problem. I could take my sheet of, it's 150 GSM. It depends what you're going to do with the box. So, you know, whereas I've got this piece here, I could have made this purely out of vellum. 150 GSM will hold. I would say only for something that's not going to be thrown around and done. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, absolutely. You can make gorgeous little, you've seen us do little party favours.
That's right.
Those would look absolutely beautiful with that. Yeah,
really
cut them
nice.
in, you know, when you cut them into thirds and then score down on the diagonal and bend them up, it would look really
really
sweet.
good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, look, basically of that construction forum of the rosette, it creates that rigidity.
Oh, it's
so when you
really,
start to roll
really
up-
robust. Yeah, ever so robust. So yeah, your lids, your boxes, no problem at all.
Excellent, perfect. And Wanda's saying, thanks, Craig, that's what I meant. Brilliant, excellent.